Hi, April.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
Doing great. Finally connected.
Absolutely. Yes. We persevered. Nice to meet you. Where are you coming out of?
I'm out of Seattle area,
Oh,
Pacific
okay.
Northwest. Yeah. So
Cool.
what about yourself?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh yeah, I lived over in St. Louis for a while. Love that area. Actually,
Okay.
Charles.
Okay. Yeah.
Charles.
St. Charles is great. Yeah. My son
Charles
is
is awesome.
in Special Olympics and they had a tournament last year. We went out there and hung out and it was a
Oh
great,
yeah,
great
that's
town.
kind of a cool spot. I did real estate for a little bit there, so a lot of fun.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. The last time I was in Seattle was in 95 and I was totally in the grunge thing and I was beside myself. I was getting bootlegs. The drummer for Soundgarden came into one of the clubs I was in and they were like, don't go up to him. That's not what we do here in the scene. You just let them be who they are. But I just thought that was the coolest thing. I was next to royalty, so to speak. So
Oh,
anyway,
that's really cool. Yeah,
yeah.
they have a great museum here too. A rock and roll museum. It's a big, huge
Oh,
guitar that's
okay.
the building looks like a guitar, like a
Oh, cool.
smash guitar. It's so cool.
That's
Yeah. So anyway,
awesome.
they have a huge grunge section in there. You'd
Very
enjoy
cool. As they
it.
should, as they should. That's where it came from. Well, hey, it's great to meet you. And what I would like to do to start everything off here is get into what we survived the last 3 years, which was COVID. And how did you make it through it? And how has it changed the way that you do things now?
Okay, great. Good question. My niece, who was actually a private school at the time, ended up having to be take school from home, and my sister, who's a nurse, she was, in the crux of everything. So, when it first hit, nobody really knew, how dangerous it was or how easily it was spread. And we had my mom living here, who was also, she was in her 80s, and she's still here. So my niece ended up coming to my house since I work from home remote, and pretty much having an office right next to me and homeschooling from here, and got to know her quite a bit, but changed the trajectory of my entire business because I had left. I initially had started working with Procter and Gamble for 21 years, Starbucks, building out their sales organization. First time they'd ever had any field sales organization. Then worked for a brokerage. I got kind of burnt out on the CPG world and said, "Hey, I want to go off on my own." And I started working with online consumer companies, and so direct to consumer, and was helping them go to retail. So I had all these connections at these massive retailers, Costco, Walmart, Kroger, wherever you're at, some retailer I know. So I started helping these direct to consumer companies go to retail. Well, as soon as COVID happened, my entire business fell apart because everybody went back to going online. So I kind of had to retool. And around that same timing, the CEO and founder of DigiBuild asked if I wanted to come co-found the company with him. He had had to make a pivot, and was really starting over from scratch. And he had worked for me for a few years at Procter and Gamble. And I'm like, you know what? What else do I have to lose? Let's go do it. And I've always enjoyed new business development. And I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs, my aunts and uncles and cousins and brothers. And so I just decided to go ahead and take the leap and give it a try. And it's been absolutely amazing. Would So glad I did it. Wouldn't change a thing.
So let's get to the crux of what you do on a daily basis. Let's go to career day, third graders. One of the kids looks up at you, you're talking to them, and they say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
Yep. So we take we're like the Amazon for construction, where you can go online and order your materials, and we'll be FedEx as well and track it to your house and make sure it gets there. And that's
Wow.
what we do for construction projects.
So what did you want to be when you were young, when you were in the third grade? What was your dream growing up?
Oh my gosh, my dream was to be an office manager. Well, start off earlier. I wanted to own my own business because my aunt would give me her green bar paper, and instead of playing with my cousin, I wanted to hang out with my aunt at her little country store. So I've always had this desire to have some type of business. So that was kind of my dream, whatever it was. And then in probably fourth or fifth grade, I wanted to see the world. So I thought the way to do that was to be a truck driver. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be a truck driver one day because I'm going to see the world. No idea what that was. And then it just honestly being in sales and marketing. I competed in high school with forensics and sales and debate, and just business has always been a passion of mine. So I've always wanted to have my own business. New business development was a huge focus of mine for with Procter and Gamble. I did all types of stuff there, product supply, logistics, building teams. But that's been my entire career, operations and sales and marketing. So I'm living my dream, always have.
Cool. So let's go back to your childhood. Tell me how these seeds were created and planted in you to have this desire to be into business and to be who you are now.
Yeah. So I'd say one of the pieces is, it's sad story, but there's always something that comes out of some of the most tragic things in life. I don't think pressure is something that should be avoided. I think it should be embraced and worked through. But my father was in construction, and he sometimes would get paid, wouldn't get paid. It was seasonality. So it just caused a lot of stress and in our family, and he got into the drink culture in construction, and a lot of it was he didn't have access to larger projects, couldn't work all year long. And so in the wintertime, we'd close down the entire house and live in the kitchen because we had no money, and there was the stove there, and that's how we lived, by our heat. But after a while, it got on him, and he committed suicide. So that was really tough, and living through that. And my mom remarried, but my poor stepdad had never had children and adopted, 6 of us at one time. So it was
Wow.
pretty crazy. Yeah. So just having those life things of you've got to survive. I started working when I was 5 years old. My first job was helping my brother, who's 8, shovel snow, and I got $5. So it was a big deal. And I think I had 20 jobs before I graduated from high school. So hard work ethic has been built in our family. My grandma, who never finished high school at 60, I think she was 68, went back and finished and got her diploma. And she
Yeah.
even took building trades. She graduated with a 4.0, just so she could see what my uncle did in his car company that he had. He was a dealership that he had. So this, just all these things of my aunts and uncles and all the people around me, that really impacted my life the most, and gave me what I needed to just keep going and never give up.
And you obviously needed to have good people to look up to. Who's been a hero for you in your life?
Wow. I'd say my grandma. She really influenced me. And my mom, they never let me get away with things, so they'd always hold me accountable. I remember one time stealing something from a store. Whew, my mom hauls me back in there and make sure that that I was held accountable. And they were like, "Oh, well, we won't call the police," and she's like, "Oh no, you will call the police, and you're gonna scare her," So just that sense of responsibility and ethics and all that was really driven by them. My mom, worked multiple jobs. She gave up a really good job, working as an accountant because she could make more money cleaning, in a lot of industrial cleaning, and it really took a toll on her. But that was how she helped supplement and provide for the family. Like I said, my aunts and uncles. My one aunt was the first female butcher in Michigan. So just a really great influence around me with women who've just really taken me under their wings and held me accountable, but mostly family.
I took a couple packs of baseball cards from a 7-Eleven when I was like 11. They scared the holy hell out of me. I mean, they put me in the back office, said you're getting prosecuted to the full extent. The cop came in, he was horrible. I went into the police station like I was getting a mug shot. I mean, it was like it was on. So that ended
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah. And it's real. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's crazy.
amazing?
Totally got me. So
Yeah. hmm
if you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who'd it be?
Oh my goodness. I don't know how I'd handle it, but if I could bring back Churchill and talk to him, I love Winston Churchill. I've read lots of biographies about him. I just think he was an amazing person. One, he was a little quirky. Two, he was probably hated by most people, just because of his drive. But three, because he absolutely changed the trajectory of the world. And what did that take? I'd like to understand if all the things I read about him are actual.
Yeah, that would be good. One of the saddest things about Churchill is I was actually in London right after 9/11 happened. I was scrambling to get back home. And
Oh
I
wow.
saw I saw the statue there and they took the cigar because the whole political correctness movement came around. They took the cigar
He
out of
took
his
his
statue.
cigar?
Yes. That was like a part of his
You can
whole
smoke
vibe.
weed, but you can't smoke a cigar?
I mean, it's like, can't we historically say, okay, this happened unless it was really arduous and bad? But like a
Oh
cigar, come
my
on.
goodness. That's
So
that's his was him, his personality. He had that thing stuck in his mouth, whether he smoked it half the time, I don't know. It's like he said he was a big drinker, but then I read stuff and he never really he could hold his liquor, but he was never really drunk,
Yeah.
apparently. Just
Yeah.
using it as his way to get in and whatever.
Social lubricant. That was him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
totally.
And
So
I think the other person would be Lincoln. I think the best book I
yeah.
ever read was Lincoln and Leadership. There's very few out there on him. Most people don't even know it. It's a little tiny book, but it really impacted me because I could really relate to him. So that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the fire for you every day to do what you do, to get up, to accomplish what you want to get done? What is that for you?
Uh, I'm living the dream of, working toward building a unicorn company that's going to change a historic industry that's never really, has never really seen growth or development or innovation at scale. And that's what we're trying to do at DigiBuild. And it's very exciting because it is changing lives. It would have changed my dad's life. I mean, if he had had access to larger projects as a subcontractor, it would just have made the world of difference for him. And so that's what we're doing between our construction clients and our supplier database and friends and family within the supplier community. We're really trying to do that.
So of all of the clients and business experience you've had, what's one of the best success stories you've been a part of?
I would say building out, I had the opportunity to build out two high performance work teams, and it was a lot of work, but the results were unbelievable. And just trying to model that out, always wondering, you always heard about high performance work teams. What does that mean? What does that look like? I've probably created between 17 and 20 teams in my entire career, at different levels. And so I think that was a major achievement for me of bringing a team of people together and just working in such a way that it's almost seamless. Like, you have the deep relationships with each other personally and professionally. There's a transparency that's required. There's the right amount of accountability that's there. There's the right way of treating people, even if they're not a right fit for your team, but being respectful of people and moving them on or moving them to a different position to where, you're not firing people, you're kind of coaching them along and helping them in their life as well as, helping the company at the same time.
So of all the things that you've accomplished up to this point, what are you the proudest of?
I think it's the endeavor I'm on right now. We're working with an organization and I'm becoming a board advisor for this organization called Emancipate. And Emancipate's a 401(c) company that's nonprofit, and they work with trafficked women in Asia and Latin America. And they put them through Embassy Row, who they're partnered with, puts them through college. And so they have their bachelor, masters, and they work you give them, really good, sustainable work where they can make a living. These women can make a living and impact their families, but also provide a good work product for anybody that wants to use them. And what they do is they do all these promotional packages. They're like on steroids that you'd pay 20,000 for, and you're paying like 2,000 to 5,000 for, and they're exponentially like taking your business and just blowing it up because they're that good. And so that's my passion. I think that'll be my retirement one day. But being able to help women. They also have the child soldier program where they're helping children, they're feeding lots of people, and just really helping the globe in a way that's, my passion is giving back to people who are in poor countries.
So if you could see any event in human history with your own eyes, what would you love to see? What would you love to witness firsthand?
Wow. I'm usually not a backward thinking person. It's always about the future. But if I could go back and see what happened, I'd probably say just, I don't know if I'd want to see it. Um, I think I really like English history. So a couple movies that really impacted me, obviously The Darkest Hour, but then there was another one out there. Got the name of it. It's where the entire country, London, took their boats out and saved an entire army and changed the trajectory of the globe. I would have loved to have been there and been in that that time and just sitting there watching all these people come together on their little, boats, fishing boats and stuff, take them out and just watch what was happening to them emotionally, feel that emotion, and then the pride of bringing back their own countrymen to save the world. Yeah, just something like that, so powerful that you because it's so human, it's like it gets down to, "Boy, it makes me cry. I'm so terrible."
No, it's all
But
good.
I'd like to see something like that, or be there alongside if I could watch, just be a fly on the wall, watch what happened when, you think about Harriet Tubman and all the people that came around her, no matter what race they were from and how they saved people from slavery and saved lives that way. Just something that powerful. I'd love to go back and feel that emotion of it because it's so deep. We lose that. I'm not sure what's around us today where we could experience that at that type of a level.
Yeah, for sure. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, contacts, but you're in control of things. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, I think I'm an insecure person, very insecure, and I feel like I've allowed, like the first half of my life and career, I allowed people to influence me too much because I wanted to be liked or I wanted to be part of something, feeling like I lost something when I was younger. So for me, I feel that's a big part of who I am and how I've overcome that and how you just sometimes just got to separate yourself out from your emotions to really be successful and not to be afraid. So I would say people would see that insecurity in me because I hate confrontation more than anything and mostly because of my insecurities. So I'd say I'm an insecure person, but I'm also I love people. I want to make a difference. I have a heart to really connect with people and to really help them on all levels, whether it's career, personally, even financially. I mean, we give to a lot of nonprofit organizations. So I'd say that people would find me, and I find myself as I like to have fun and not take life too seriously.
Excellent.
um, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So if anyone wants to get involved with your business, anything pertaining to your world, where's the best place on the web to go?
I would just go to my LinkedIn at April Moss and you can type in DigiBuild, DIGIBUILD. You'll get my profile there or at info@digibuild.com.
Excellent. April, we hooked up. It's so good that we finally got the interview taken care of.
Yes.
Thank you for opening up. Thanks for your story. Best of
Yep.
luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye
See
bye.
ya. Bye-bye.